Now in the news is this horrific injury that happened on the Buffalo Bills. And the latest involves blowback on, forgive me, it's Skip Bayless of Fox Sports. I'm trying to find the exact, hold on, I'll find it. The exact tweet. Okay, here it is. Skip Bayless is under fire because on his Fox Sports show that he co-hosts with Shannon Sharpe, after it, I guess, he tweeted in the middle of this debacle that after Damar Hamlin got hurt and had a cardiac arrest, and now we know, by the way, that he was resuscitated not once but twice, had to be resuscitated not once but twice, according to a family member, once on the field, once in the hospital. Not good. Though the family member says his intubation is now only 50% necessary. Not exactly sure I understand that, but they're saying 50% of the breathing may be coming from him now and not all from the breathing tube. So they were marking that as a positive sign in his recovery. We have no idea whether the recovery is robust or not. In any event, Skip Bayless tweeted out, "No doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of this game. But how? This late in the season, a game of this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome." That is a true statement of fact, by the way. Then he says, "which suddenly seems so irrelevant." The regular season outcome, which suddenly seems so irrelevant. Well, I got to tell you, I saw him like, okay, I'm not offended. I see what he's trying to say. He's like, he's saying, they must be considering postponing it. This is a critical game, but it seems so irrelevant. Like how is that controversial? Well, it is. My God. NFL players, NBA players, retired pro athletes calling for him to be fired regarding that tweet. Free agent NBA point guard Isaiah Thomas replied saying, "I hope they fire you, bro. For you to even think of the game is very sad." ESPN NBA analyst Kendrick Perkins, "You're a sick individual." Real talk. Hall of Fame wide receiver Terrell Owens, even I know that name, reposted his tweet to Instagram and said, "This is the most despicable tweet ever," adding, "I hope you lose your job." Former NBA champion Matt Barnes commented under that post, writing, "Someone gonna slap the S out of Skip one of these days." And then today, Skip Bayless and his co-host Shannon Sharpe got back into it. Keep in mind, Skip Bayless kind of apologized for that tweet already. He tweeted out afterward saying, "Nothing's more important than the young man's health. That was the point of my last tweet. I am sorry if that was misunderstood, but his health is all that matters. Again, everything else is irrelevant. I prayed for him and will continue to." Did not appease the mob. Here they are discussing it on their show today.
Skip tweeted something, and although I disagree with the tweet, and hopefully Skip would take it down, but I didn't want it.
Well, time out. I'm not going to take it down because I stand by what I tweeted.
Skip, let me finish.
All right, okay.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
Go ahead, let's go, Jen.
Okay.
I mean, I cannot even get through a monologue without you interrupting me.
Well,
you could have came back, Skip.
Well, I thought,
Skip, just let.
I didn't know you were going to bring up this.
I was just going to say, Skip, I didn't want to yesterday to get into a situation where Damar Hamlin was the issue. We should have been talking about him and not get into your tweet. That's what I was going to do. But you can't even let me finish my opening monologue without you interrupting.
Okay. I was under the impression you weren't going to bring this up because nobody here had a problem with that tweet.
No. Clearly, the bosses wanted you to offer explanation, so clearly somebody.
No, they did not have. Nobody.
Let's go, Jen.
Thoughts and prayers remain with Damar Hamlin.
That's where the focus should have been, and not on the football game. Yes, let's go, Jen. Thank you.
Oh, boy. I didn't know who Jan was. I thought Jan was the producer until, I guess, a reporter named Jan popped up. What do you make of this whole thing, Eric?
So when he tweeted that, Megyn, it was live. I watched the game, and he tweeted that. I had my Twitter open because I was trying to see what was happening. Damar Hamlin was still on the ground, on the field. He was on the turf, on his back. They were administering CPR. Basically, he was dead. They were playing God when Skip Bayless tweeted that. I immediately tweeted, hey, I said, "Wow, you're really going to regret this, brother, soon, big." And he did. I thought it was disgusting. I thought it was horrible.
Why? Why is it disgusting? Why is it disgusting? Because honestly, I'm happy to find Skip Bayless disgusting if disgusting behavior comes. But he's saying, as a sports analyst, to the audience, they're going to consider postponing this game.
Yes,
but how can they do it given that the season's about to end and the season suddenly seems so irrelevant? I get it.
It's not what he said. It's when he said it. here he's the young man, the 24-year-old, is fighting for his life. And here's a guy, Skip Bayless, with a decent sized audience, a nice sized audience, to be like you and I, and making a comment because he wants to be first. He wants to get to the record first that he's going to make a comment on whether this game should go on or not. Okay. I did a whole monologue on this yesterday. I think Skip Bayless was being an opportunist for doing it when this young man is trying to survive. I think the people on the right, some of my friends, some people I used to work with, tweeting, questioning whether the vaccine, the NFL mandate on the vaccine had something to do with this young man laying dead on the field. I thought that was a political opportunism. I think Skip was a sports opportunism. They all were doing it for their own good, not for the good of a young man dying on the field. Dying, and he did. He's flatlined twice, as you pointed out.
Yeah, he was brought back. He is alive, but yes, I agree.
Speculating and having conversations about what the NFL should or shouldn't do, or whether or not he should or should not have had a vaccine or not. But just don't do it when his family is watching him from the stands, dead on the field, when they're administering CPR. And that was happening simultaneously. And that's why I had a problem with Bayless.
Okay, I get the timing makes it more insensitive in your view. I mean, I will say on the vaccine questions, like I talked to Dr. Drew about this yesterday on his show, and he is one of the people who tweeted out something to the effect of, I don't want to misstate his tweet, but it was something to the effect of many athletes are dropping. And like, I do think it's okay. Again, timing is another question. I think it's okay to say what could have caused this, because we don't know whether it was that sudden cardiac death where you get struck in the heart. That's speculation too. We have to wait to hear from the doctors what actually caused. But like, it could have been that. What else could it have been? Could it have been, did he have some latent heart condition that we don't know about? Like, obviously people ask questions about the vaccines because we know that they cause myocarditis, and people have been dying as a result, even though the mainstream media won't talk about it. And in some cases, we've seen that affect athletes. So I get uncomfortable when it's like, you're not allowed to raise any of those questions. You can only go into the lane of the he got hit in the heart and that's what caused it. We don't know that either. That's also speculation.
You and I both have an opinion on whether or not the NFL should have started the game or not, and whether or not the NFL should complete the game or not, or whether or not the NFL should mandate vaccines for their players or not. My point is, and should always be, if someone's life is hanging in the balance and there are tens of millions of eyeballs watching a young man struggle for his life, let's put all that other stuff aside just for a heartbeat, and literally, no pun intended, or pun intended, until he survives or doesn't. We can find, and then we can go and jump into it. My problem is that the media tends to be such vultures, just to go at and pick the carcass as it's laying there and see what we can do for our own respective side while someone's life is laying in the balance.
But there's opportunism. There's opportunism in these commentaries is what you're suggesting.
Yeah, that was it. That was all.
Mm-hmm. So what do you make of it? Because some people have taken it to football. It's dangerous. Speaking of vultures, we're vultures for watching it, for taking in, sort of the abuse of these young men for money and for our own pleasure. I just don't see this one injury the same at all as like the Tua concussion injury where they put him right back out there after he was clearly hurt the week before or days before. Like this just seems like a once in a lifetime. Like this is not an injury. If it is the sudden heart injury that comes with a blunt force impact at just the right moment when your heart's beating, that doesn't really happen in football. I'm not sure we can extrapolate anything from this situation to football writ large, but what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think you blame football for it. It's a violent sport. If you ask any one of those athletes, if you make them sign a document that says, hey, you might, in a rare instance, have this situation where, a helmet could hit you as your heart in the middle of a heartbeat and it could kill you. Do you still want to play this game? Do you still want to try and be a superstar athlete? Of course, they're going to all say yes. They all know the risk of that. They also all know the risk of major brain injury, and that's far more common, as you point out. So it's a violent sport. It's a dangerous sport. It's getting safer every single year. They're taking precautions. Personally, I think they can soften the helmets. I think shoulder pads and helmets could be softer. You don't hear the hits like they love on TV, but it'll be a heck of a lot safer. I can't blame the NFL for this one, and I don't think anyone should.
You were a big baseball player. That's the sport in which this normally happens, they say, like where the baseball hits your heart. I mean, this is a known and identified risk now these days in sports like baseball, hockey, where there's a puck, and certain other sports, but not football.
Yeah, because the projectile in baseball and hockey is smaller and it hits you in the right spot at the right time in the heart. It creates this commodio, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And it's a rare but can be fatal injury. The helmet is what hit, or shoulder helmet is what hit Damar Hamlin. It's a bigger projectile, maybe not as fast as a baseball or a hockey puck coming at you, but hit him at the right or the wrong time exactly. So yeah, in baseball, little leaguers are now some leagues are having their little leaguers wear a chest plate because of this, the risk of this. So again, it's not an uncommon, or it's not an unknown.
If you're like me, you're growing more and more concerned about the future. The market's all over the place. Inflation is at its highest level in 40 years. Interest rates are up. Market experts predicting a recession and using scary terms like economic hurricane. If you want to protect your future, call a precious metal dealer I trust, American Hartford Gold. They can show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. All it takes to get started is a short phone call, and they will have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or inside your IRA or 401k. And they keep it simple. They are the highest rated firm in the country with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and thousands of satisfied clients. And as an exclusive offer for my fans, if you call them right now, they will give you up to $1,500 of free silver and a free safe on qualifying orders. So don't wait, call now. Call 866-518-2955. That's 866-518-2955 or text Megyn, MEGYN, to 65532. Again, call 866-518-2955 or text Megyn to 65532. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.